Hi everyone, my name is Chris Martin. Welcome to Keto with me. I'm super excited to talk to you guys today about my week 7 results. But before I do that, I wanted to let you know that if you want the details of week 7, or if you want the details from everything from day 0 till now, check out my diary series. I mean, it's got every little detail in it, since the beginning. There's like some close to 40 videos out there about it. So also, please take time to like and subscribe so you can keto with me. All right, let's take a look at the results. So the first result that I think a lot of us always like to track when you're doing something like keto is your weight. So my weight is now 204.2. So I lost 3.2 pounds in week 7. And that gives me a grand total loss of 30.2 pounds actually. So I am this close to 200. I mean, I'm so close I can just taste it. So for those of you who follow my diary series, you know that I track way more than just the weight. There's a whole lot of other stuff that I take into account. One of those things that I track is sleep. So for me, I look at it on a daily basis, but on a weekly, and then also how it's improved since the beginning. I'm averaging about 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep to each night. So and then those also know that I'm fasting currently. So where I live right now in the keto world is also in the fasting world. So I do 1 meal a day. So I do about 23 to 24 hours, sometimes 25 hours of fasting for that. And then just this past week, I actually completed my first ever, and I mean ever. I've done keto before, but my first ever 72-hour fast. And it actually went really well. I had a tremendous amount of energy. There was, that second day, like the first 24 hours, I got hungry towards the end of it, but I kept staying with my mineral salt and just persisted through that. But the second and third day actually went really well with no hiccups, and I'm actually looking forward to starting another 72-hour fast. I also mostly eat a clean keto style. I say mostly because it's darn near impossible, and I talked about this in a lot of videos out there to hit that perfect clean. Although there's some days I get really close to it, but that's where I typically live. I call it the clean/dirty. There's some elements here and there of some dirty stuff, but I'd say the vast majority of the time I'm hitting that clean. So if you also follow I know I plug the diary series a lot, but I do a ton of tracking in there. I've got my journal here, but I also do chronometer app, which I'll talk about in a separate video one time, and then I also do some stuff in some Google spreadsheets and stuff like that. So I wanted to go over my numbers. I'll have to look down here at the screen here just to kind of give you those. But my daily average carbs for that week was 15.1. My macros, that's the fat, carb, and protein percents of overall food eaten, averaged about 72 for fat per day. Carbs were 5, and then 23 for protein. So I like to get them a little bit higher like they were the previous week, but those numbers I'll still take. I had to eat out twice that week, so there was a little bit of difficulty getting them like way up there. And I did not count fasting days in those numbers, just to be clear. My daily my daily blood glucose average was 78, so I'm in the 70s now. My ketones are averaging around 2.8, and my Dr. Boz ratio, and we'll talk about that one at some point in another video why I follow that, is staying under 30, which is averaging about 29. So some other things I do to improve my improve my life and kind of just I track as well, is that I do meditation and exercise. Meditation just so I can calm down, relax. I do on average about 10 minutes of that a day. And then in week 7 I didn't do any exercise at all. You also know that I like to do a lot of learning. So for week 7, I actually watched 2 or 3 videos on different keto from different folks out there, and then I usually almost for every release I do on my diary series, like this past week I had one excuse me, I did a video on Dr. Berry and blood pressure medicine that I think that you should get a chance to go out there and and check it out. If you get a chance, watch that week 7 video, because I had some a varied amount of foods for that week, and it gives you an idea kind of like what you do if you have to go out, what you have to do if you stay in. Sometimes you have a fallback meal. You know, like one of those meals was just breakfast for dinner. We tend to eat that about at least once every other week, sometimes once a week it seems like in some cases. But we had to go out of town one day and I had to figure that out. And then we had, a really good, delicious Salisbury steak meal, which was really good. And then we had some organic, beef sausage, which was just fantastic. Just like last week, I attribute, my success for week 7 to, one, sticking with my fast and also trying that 72-hour fast. I mean, I pushed from the 48 to the 72 and then doing all those 24s. Another thing too is that I'm very, very dedicated to staying under 20 carbs. So it's tough to do sometimes, especially when you got to, like I said a couple times, you have to eat out and stuff like that. And I try to overestimate. That way I got, a lot of wiggle room there. And then also I'm a total carbs person. So if you watch my total versus net carbs video, you'll see that, I talk about, which way I go with that. So, and then, trying to keep those fat macro percentages too, because you can say you're doing keto because you're low carb, but you have to have that high fat. So that is something that I'm always, even if I have to augment the meal a little bit by eating a little bit of butter or taking some MCT or, eating a handful of pecans. So that's where I get my success. All right, that's it for the week 7 results video. Thanks for taking time to watch the video with me today. I hope you come back and check out week 8's results. I'm so hoping that I'll hit that, or break that 200 mark, or at least be on it. That would just be fantastic. So, please take time to like and subscribe so you can keto with me. If you've got any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Just remember, nobody is perfect. Be a coach, not a critic, and take care.